Yeah, it should be a good one tonight. Yeah, I think. Um, when are we live? Just wondering when we're live on here. Yeah, live TV again. Yes, it's a hard life. How am I looking?
Perfect.
Thank you. Thank you. La la la.
Simon Cowell.
Should be in here soon. No, yeah, yeah. Tell Simon Cowell I'll be there soon. All right. Ah, you're in. Let's see. A few gone. There's a few with error messages. Who just saw that? That was actually a joke, all right? That was a joke. Whoever just saw that, messing around. Oh yeah, lipstick. Forgot lipstick. Rubbish. So a few of you I've just had a little note that some got an error message then, so I'm just going to wait for them to join in and just make sure that they are actually okay. I'll just check the attendees. Yeah, it looks like everyone's here. Okay, so Leonora got an error message. Vicky got an error message. Okay, let's just wait for those two just to make sure they're okay, and they can post in the chat box. Joe, I do not do that every time at all. Go check YouTube. So yeah, we've got Leonora with a problem and Vicky with a problem. So I'm just going to put a message. Okay, cool. Leonora's okay and Vicky's okay. Awesome. Good stuff. So we've got, I'll just check the attendees. We've got 11 of us in, which is really good news. So I was a little bit worried earlier. We had one registered and then we went up to a massive 4, and then I panicked and thought, right, let's G you on. Obviously, it's a new format, signing up, so I know who's in, and I've also got all your contact details so I can get hold of you. If you experience any problems on this webinar, it won't be down to the software or anything. It'll literally be down to your connection. So if you've got an Ethernet cable, plug that in. Sit right next to your Wi-Fi if it's not a great signal. But that's what it will be down to. I've run a few of these now, and it's run absolutely fine on my signal here. I've got full signal. It's absolutely fine. So if you get any problems, it's due to the fact that it's your signal, your end. If you miss anything, don't worry. All of this is recorded. So if you miss anything or you need to step out of the room, as soon as this is over, I post the link into your group support area where you can literally click on that, and you just need to sign up again, and you'll be get taken straight through to the page where you can watch all of that information again at your leisure. So if you miss anything, it's fine, and also it's a bonus for everyone else. Okay. What the way we normally work is that all you need to do is start tapping away your questions in the chat box there. So what really helps is throughout the week, if you just ping up your notes section on your phones, or however you like to keep notes, or even use or dictate on your phone, just keep a log of all of the questions or problems that you come up against throughout the week, and then you can ask all those questions on these coaching calls, and they're ready for you on the dot. So it's nice and easy to keep a nice log of any questions throughout the week. So firstly, I wanted to start by saying a massive well done to everyone. It's really good and pleasing to see a group that hasn't, for want of a better word, whinged to within an inch of their life on the detox week. Okay, now I completely understand. I've done many a detox myself, and I've even done a 4-week detox before. I know how tough it is. It is extremely tough. And 4 days, you think, at the beginning, you think, my God, this is going to be really, really easy. And for some of you, you can end up with some God almighty sickness feelings and things like that. For most of you, what you're going to experience is purely and simply the headaches and maybe a little bit grotty. And it's just, it's actually quite a good thing to realize that, you know, when you think you're not that toxic, you actually can be. So how bad you feel is really down to how toxic you have been in the past. But I wanted to say, you know, aside from those feelings, it's been a pleasure to experience a group that has just picked it up, done it straight away, got on with it, not whinged, and just really experienced the results. And it's just been absolutely plain sailing, and I've been really, really pleased to see all of you taking it on the chin and doing really, really well so far. So fantastic, good effort so far. So now most of you now have picked up on week 2, and you probably look forward to all of your training now. So I think there's 2 videos in week 2, and it's explained to you all about the reset period. Now, all of those things that I've mentioned, which are eliminated from your diet for this phase 1 and phase 2, are there for a reason. They are the things which you can and will experience intolerances to. Now, you don't just have to take my word for it. Most people, or many, many people in groups gone by, have tried a cheat meal because they have had to, because of a family thing, or they just really craved it and they just did it for, you know, for whatever reason, and all of a sudden, bang, they experience the reaction to these intolerances that they never thought that they would have. And Jo Letts is in the group. She's been part of 2 groups so far, and she's helping me out and hopefully coming on board on TBT90 to within the team, and she's doing really well looking after you guys in there and helping you out with your questions. But she is testament to that fact that when you add in or try these foods, all of a sudden you can end up with stomach cramps, kind of fogginess and things, reacting to these foods which you can become or are intolerant to on a daily basis. And what happens is, the fact is that we haven't created an intolerance there. It's just we tend to go through life really just getting used to feeling like we've got irritable bowel syndrome, getting used to all of this gas and wheezing and running eyes and stomach cramps and thinking like it's normal, a normal part of your life. But as soon as you eliminate those feelings and start experiencing a high level of energy and well-being, as soon as you upsell that apple cart with these foods that you can be typically intolerant to, all of a sudden you realize what it is to feel these intolerances, and it's just almost like a final nail in the coffin to actually realize that you can't tolerate these things as much as you thought, and they will have an effect on your body composition, and that's what we're all here for. The wellness and well-being and the upward spiral of energy is a byproduct of all of this. So there we go. So what we're really looking at now is questions about the weeks coming up now. So the week that you're in and the videos that you've watched, we're looking at now, answering the questions or any questions you've got about lifestyle or anything to do with week 2 and lifestyle and fitting things in and things like that. So I can see a few questions coming in, so I'm going to start by firing into those straight away. Okay, so we've got one here from Vicky, and she says, can you explain the intermediate workout, please, so I can check I have it right? I understand the moves, just would like to hear an explanation about how to implement them. There are so many workouts within TBT 90 for 12 weeks, and within those weeks, as you can understand, there's a beginner, intermediate and advanced, and there's obviously 3, 6, 9, there's about 14 or 15 workouts per week, and multiply that by 12, there's quite a lot of workouts in there, and they don't remain the same every week. So if you can imagine, thinking back to those workouts, exactly what they are in week 2 is fairly difficult. But I think the workouts there, so forgive me if I am incorrect here, and if I am, I'll remind myself of those and call you individually, Vicky, to discuss it. But I think with regards to the workouts, you have a repetition range that you need to work to, and you're given a weight to work to. So if it's something like 30 reps for an exercise, for instance, and the weight that you're using is your 5-rep max weight, that means that you are going to be using a heavy weight that you can't do 30 reps with. So you will need to break at points in that. So within that program, there's not a sets and reps scheme. It's about using a heavy weight, doing as many reps as you can of those 30, and then breaking when you need to, and then picking it back up and starting again until you get to the 30. So hopefully that's right. Let me know if it is, and if it isn't, I'll remind myself of those workouts and call you straight up tomorrow and discuss it with you personally. Vicky, can you explain what I should be having post-WOD? Okay, so we are eliminating all of the kind of whey proteins because of the lactose, and we're eliminating milk, and we're eliminating maltodextrin and dextrose, and obviously all of those post-workout shakes tend to have a lot of those. And someone else, I think it was Adelaide, asked that question today, and because we are on a journey of improving our body composition, all of those are eliminated and our body composition takes priority. Now, I know a lot of you who are regular gym goers will be used to having a post-workout shake, particularly the people who do CrossFit, and there aren't that many in this group actually. So What we're talking about here is eliminating those things and having body composition as our priority. So when it comes to post-workout shakes, they're eliminated. We are now looking at our workouts being not about performance and getting good at CrossFit or getting good in the gym. We're talking about giving our body nutrients from our foods to be able to recover from our workouts. And we need to look at our workouts in particular as being purely and simply about improving our body composition, and that means fat loss. So every workout you're doing, be it TBT90 or CrossFit, because CrossFit is something that I will advocate, you need to look at it as your fat loss workout. We are not looking at performance, so we just need to suck it up for phase 1 and 2, and we need to have our goal and sights completely fixated on improving our body composition, and many of those shakes will not do that, okay, and will prevent you, or they will blunt off growth hormone, which enables you to burn fat at a better rate after your workout. So it's very simply about having real food to recover. Now, when you look at either the smoothies or the TBT90 fat loss lunchbox, those are set up to be purely and simply and primarily based around good solid foundations in nutrition, and they will give you absolutely everything. If you notice, you have the high sulfur section within the fat loss lunchbox, and that is there to help detoxify and repair your body. You have the sea veg with regards to giving you that iodine to improve your thyroid. There's all of those elements. The protein will aid the recovery, and the fat will enable you to lose fat at a better rate and improve your body composition as well. So it is purely and simply about improving your body. Now, when it comes to performance, it will take us one step back to take 5 steps forward, if you like. So we're going to take a step back in our performance to then improve as we become more and more fat adapted as the program goes on. What I mean by fat adapted, I mean that we are going to be tapping into our fat stores as an energy source. Now, it takes a little bit of time to be able to do that, and how long it takes depends on how carb dependent you were in the past. Now, what we're trying to do is get those energy stores from our fat and our fat stores, but it takes a little while to become fat adapted and teach our body to be able to become fat adapted and draw upon those as an effective fuel source. So forget protein shakes, forget post-workout shakes and all of that thing. It is purely and simply about improving our body composition and recovering from our workouts with a good, solid foundation of nutrition. Groups have exist and done extremely well. When you look at that TBT90 burn workout, someone has knocked 12 minutes off their time from the week that they started, and they are a person that does CrossFit. So it goes to show that your performance can improve while doing this program and using proper nutrition, the foods that Mother Nature put there for us, okay? Okay, just going through, trying to work out what are questions and what aren't. Jo says she's never felt so good. So she's on the advanced program and hasn't used a single protein shake throughout the program, and she's on week 9 this week. And she's the girl that's in many of the photos which crop up on my timeline. Okay, so Vicky's posted in that workout. So what she said is it's so I was near enough right. So what it is 20 reps per exercise. So you're going to be doing an exercise say it's bent over row, okay? You're going to be doing 20 reps of that. Now, what you're going to be using is a heavy weight, and it says 4 to 5 rep max, okay? So it's a weight that you can only do 5 repetitions with. Now, if you can only do 5 repetitions with it, then it's certain that you're not going to do 20. So you will need to rest, so you do as many reps as you can in that dumbbell bent over row, and you rest for 30 seconds and then pick up the dumbbells and carry on until you can get to the 20. So you keep repeating that until you get to the 20 repetitions, okay? And then you change exercises. Kim's asked if we can mix up the smoothies for breakfast, or is it okay to have a similar combination every day? It's quite important to mix up the smoothies because you can, as you'll find out later on in later modules, it's important to rotate your foods because you can become intolerant to them. I don't want to delve into that too much, but it's safe to say that in my smoothies I do have similar combinations. So vary it as much as you can, but if for speed purposes you need to keep them similar, then do so. It's unlikely that you will become intolerant this early on in the program. So do the best you can. You know, you might be changing 1 or 2 ingredients, but you can keep them the similar combinations pretty much every day if you need to at this stage. Adelaide asks, can you fast before the workouts? I'm not always hungry in the morning. You certainly can, and as you will find out in the program, that you can do this. It's just that we don't tend to do it at this stage because it is something that people need to work towards, and most people will be having breakfast on a regular basis, and I say most people. Depends on when you're working out at this stage. So if you're working out at something like 7 or 8 in the morning and you need to eat after that, then that's fine. But I don't want you to go into full-blown fasting at this stage. So if you're training early and you don't like to eat before your workout, then that's fine at this stage and you can eat afterwards. Is there an optimum time to have lunch, breakfast, dinner after a workout? Yeah, depending on what time of the day you train, there is some research to suggest that, and in personally my experience as well, is that leaving it 30 minutes after your workout before you eat something, you can actually benefit from the production of growth hormone, which has come from your workout. And the benefit of having a good growth hormone surge after your workout is that growth hormone basically acts like Pac-Man on fat, okay? And to emphasize that point, many bodybuilders, the guys that you see 300 pounds plus stepping on stage at Mr. Olympia, the reason that they get so shredded is because they inject growth hormone into their fat on their waistline. So we're not going to do that, but what we need to do is benefit from our own growth hormone production, which comes from high intensity training and lifting weights. So if we leave it a good 30 minutes after our workout, at least, and then eat something, we're going to get all of the fat loss benefits from the growth hormone production that came in that workout. Vicky asks if there's any tips on running workouts. Not a big advocate of distance running because it elevates cortisol production, which is counterproductive to your body composition. And this is something that you'll learn all about on TBT 90 at one of the weeks. Now, when you're doing, if you do want to do any running or HIIT training when looking at the programs, and Vicky, you'll be doing CrossFit, I believe. So all you need to do is go into the TBT 90 workouts, look at any of them, and you'll find a HIIT workout, and that is what you need to do for any sort of running training. It basically needs to be interval training so that you don't hammer your adrenal glands, which will give you an overproduction of cortisol, which is counterproductive to your muscle and is also counterproductive to storing fat, particularly on the tummy. So we don't want our distance workouts or running workouts to be too long or for too long a distance, which is why interval training works extremely well for a shorter period of time. So any running workouts anyone wants to do, they need to be high intensity interval training, and you will find any of those within any of the TBT 90 workouts in any of the programs, okay? Adelaide asks, she says, in your smoothie recipes you vary the protein powders. Is this important to reference developing intolerances? Actually, it's more important. The things that you will become more intolerant to is the proteins and using too many of the same proteins. Now, why don't I tell you to buy 5 different types of proteins? Well, the reason is cost at this stage. I understand that obviously you've made an investment in yourself in this program, and also you've made an investment, some of you, in a smoothie maker. You've invested in a ton of food. You've invested in zeolite, MSM, all of these other little things. So it's unlikely that you will get an intolerance at this stage. However, it's something to keep it in the back of your mind as we approach the later weeks and look at variety. Now, a very simple way of being able to vary your proteins, aside from buying different types of protein powders, is to simply start utilizing some of the TBT 90 breakfasts. So you can have, say, a smoothie on one morning and then maybe go for a cooked breakfast with a certain type of protein on another day. All right, so that's another way that you can vary your proteins. By all means, take a look through those smoothie recipes and find different protein powders if you want to. Now, many find that the protein powders actually ruin the smoothie, and I completely understand that. Sometimes it's due to the fact that they're putting too many scoops of protein into it. Okay, you only really need 1 tablespoon. That should be okay, about 20 grams. That would be a heaped tablespoon. Or it's the fact that you're using the wrong type of protein. Or you can very simply, as one lady does, is have the smoothie and the protein shakes separately, because she really liked having the smoothies, but she couldn't tolerate having the protein actually in the smoothie. So she just made up a protein shake separately and necked both of them. Okay? Vicky asks, is tuna eliminated? Yes, it is, and always will be. Obviously, it's your choice. And as you'll find out when we get to the module all about protein, you'll understand why. And the reason it's eliminated is because you are trying to eliminate heavy metals from your diet to optimize the function of your thyroid. And as you know, that's extremely important in your metabolism. Now, if you've invested in zeolite, it makes little point in investing zeolite if you're going to overload your system with mercury that is always found in tuna, and it's actually a fish to avoid completely because it is so heavily laden with mercury. It's unreal. It's almost at toxic levels, so you need to eliminate tuna from your diet completely, and I eliminated it for that reason without telling you until you get to the module that teaches you all about protein and also which type of fish to eliminate. But suffice to say, for this stage in the game, if it's toxic, it's not going to be there. Okay? Da, da, da. Sue Wood says, I'm not able to see the training information videos. There's nothing wrong with the website at all with regards to any of the training videos. Vicky, who I spoke to today, or one of the Vickies I spoke to today, she actually went onto that page while I was on the phone to her. So many videos in there, it will be quite simply down to your ability to download those videos. So just need to get a really, really good connection, really, to get those videos downloaded on that page. So there's nothing wrong with that page at present. I do intend on advancing the information on those training videos, so stay tuned. There will be upgrades and updates about that particular page and how it's going to be operating. Okay? Sue asks, does the daily detox drink count towards your daily water intake? It most certainly does, 100%. And you can drink as much of it as you want throughout the day, up to about 2 to 3 litres is what you need to be kind of aiming for. So it 100% does count towards your water intake. I drink the detox drink all day long, and it keeps me feeling absolutely amazing. Prevents me having any sort of water retention, which we don't want. Ensures that I have alkaline blood, which you will find out about in a later module, because of all of the minerals which are in that salt, and also the lemons, which are alkaline as well, and obviously the cayenne pepper, as you know, will fire up that metabolism. Now, many people ask about salt, and even though it's in the module, people still tend to have this kind of air around salt and how much that they're having. Now, not all salt is created equal. Now, this is just to remind you, not all salt is created equal. The stuff that lands on your table, and it's quite simply sodium, that is it, and it is poison. It is absolute poison. If you have it in your cupboards, get rid of it and never ever use it again, okay? That is the reason that we've been told to reduce our salt intake, purely and simply. This stuff is hugely beneficial, and when it's been analysed, the mineral makeup of and the composition of this stuff is absolutely 100% very, very similar to the makeup of amniotic fluid, which is where we spent the first 9 months of our lives. So it goes to show how important this stuff is. Romans used to trade in it. That's what they knew, how beneficial this stuff was. And also, animals on the planet go searching out for salt all of the time. There is a particular herd of elephants which go to a particular cave and have done for tens of thousands of years, and they show them literally using their tusks to scrape away at these cave walls to get that salt in. All right. No other animal on the planet is ever told to reduce their salt intake, and they actually go looking for salt. It's extremely important but remember, it needs to be the right type of salt, and you guys are having the right type of salt now. If you notice from all of the recipes, it's always Himalayan salt or Celtic sea salt, okay? So extremely beneficial, prevents water retention, and also gives you a nice alkaline bloodstream to be able to actually hold on to and absorb that water, okay? So give me some questions. Gimme, gimme, gimme. Just checking the time there. There must be more questions somewhere. Come on, Leonora. You've not asked a question yet. Tony, you haven't asked one. Claire Starks, you haven't asked one. Rashna, you haven't asked one. Let's get some questions in. Come on, hit me with them. Come on, guys, give me a question. There must be loads. You must have tons and tons and tons of questions. Okay, Vicky. I haven't been putting protein in my smoothie. Does it matter? I just haven't got round to buying any. If it was during the detox, you can get away with it. Okay, on a daily basis, you're going to need some form of it. Okay, so keep going as you're going at the moment, but yeah, just keep going as you're going at the moment. It is essential, but at the moment you can get away with it. And if you can get round to buying some, that would be absolutely fantastic. Find one that's flavored. I particularly like one that wasn't on the list, and I really like. It's called Vega 1. I'm just going to put it into the chat box. It's called Vega 1, and it's called. The flavor that I like is actually the chai latte flavor. So it's chai latte. Okay, I've just put that into the chat box. All right, just in case you need to get yourself some. Okay. Tony, do you recommend any organic produce websites for good quality veg or meat? Okay, so vegetable-wise, I've used lots and lots and lots of different ones. But for veg, it's actually something that I order less and less of now because Waitrose is, which is up the road from me, is increasing all of the time the amount of organic veg that it has in. So it's extremely, extremely handy for me. Now, when it comes to the meat, that's a different story, okay? And obviously Tesco's, I've just reminded, my wife just held up a pack of celery, a pack of celery which is organic from Tesco's. Now theirs is ever increasing all the time as well. So I don't tend to bother with the veg, but Riverford's is who I will use if I do have that. When it comes to the meat, the best quality meats I have found in terms of grass-fed, organic and free-range meats. Now, when it comes to meat, it's less important to have organic meat, but more important to have kind of foliage-fed or grass-fed meat. And the best ones I've found are a company called Paleo Nutrition Wales. I'm just going to write them in the chat box. Paleo Nutrition Wales do really good quality meats, either free range. They also do some good meats from around the world. You know, they'll do some game. They'll also do some big game. I've had, believe it or not, I've had camel burgers from them. What else have I had? I've had ostrich from them as well. So it's all good about varying your proteins. You can get a really good deal from them. They're always doing offers. So if you like their page on Facebook, they will give you some really, really good offers. And also I use a company who's down the road from me in Sunningdale, and you can order online with them. They're grass-fed, free range, and organic. And that company is called Lewis Butchers. Their branding is pink and black, and you can order online from them as well. Really good suppliers, both of those. That's who I use. Okay. Vicky's asked, where do you get sea veg? Well, I use www.seaveg.co.uk. Just putting that one in. And also Clear Spring, www.clearspring.co.uk. Now, when it comes to sea veg, Waitrose are doing nori crackers, which are absolutely amazing and extremely cheap. They're made by a company called Itsu. I'm just going to write that in the chat box as well. And they also do a wasabi flavor nori. So if you're not heavily into just yet or can't tolerate it, the wasabi flavor ones, which when you have them you can crumple them up and actually put them on, or you can eat them with your fat loss lunchbox, and obviously they're extremely accessible because you can get them from Waitrose. I'm not sure if you can buy them, but most definitely you can get them at Waitrose for sure. And they're actually in the aisle that has the crackers. So like all those oat crackers and things like that, you can find them there. Let's take a look. Okay, Adelaide asks, how much fat is too much? Always a concept I have struggled with is eating fat, and I know it must be an arbitrary thing. Okay, so here's the thing with fat. You can go too far with it, okay? So when the reasons that people avoid fat in the mainstream community is, firstly, because it's highly calorific, okay? When I say highly calorific, it's not way, way, way above, it's just more calories than protein and carbohydrates, okay? So that's why people tend to avoid the fat. And also, the second thing is that they believe that fat will make them fat, okay? Now, that's actually not the case. And when you start to learn about what you're going to learn in the next week's information, you will learn that it is insulin spikes which are causing us to get fatter, okay? Insulin. And the reason that fat isn't making us fat is because it is not spiking insulin, okay? So insulin turns off, as you'll find out, an enzyme called hormone-sensitive lipase. Hormone-sensitive lipase releases fat from the cell and enables it to get burned as a fuel. Now, because fat doesn't elevate insulin, it doesn't turn off hormone-sensitive lipase, and still allows fat to be released from the cell to be used as an energy. So that's why it's not bad. Also, fat is good for us because every cell in your body has a lipid bilayer. Okay, by lipid bilayer I mean an outer layer around the cell and an inner layer in the cell. That lipid bilayer is made up of fat. Okay, now we need to be having good fats to make those cells as healthy as possible. Now the reason people say eat more fat, what they're saying is eat more good fat. That would be your omega-3s, ensuring that you have a good lipid bilayer. Coconut oil, which will actually give you energy as well. The monounsaturates and the polyunsaturates. What you need to be avoiding in its complete entirety is trans fats. The fats which are found with the sugary items like the pastries and the cakes and all of those things which are on, and the biscuits which are found on the shelves. You're going to learn all about these, all about fats, again in its entirety in a later module within the program. We're skipping ahead a little bit, but suffice to say, I'm not asking you to eat a ton of fat. All I'm asking you to do is to cook with the fat and drizzle with the fat. And the reason we need to do that is to make this lipid bilayer as healthy as possible. If that lipid bilayer isn't healthy and is made from poor fats, it will not allow the correct function of that cell. Now, if your fat cells aren't made of a healthy lipid bilayer, its ability to release fat from that cell is hindered, which means that your fat loss is hindered. Okay, so I'm not asking you to gorge down on any fats. I'm asking you to cook with the good fats which are in the recipes, and I want you to drizzle with good fats which will allow you to release fat from the cell. If you do not take in fat in your diet, your body will hold on to fat and you will find the fat loss process ever more difficult. Okay, so I hope that answers your question. Good stuff. Without going too far, because you've got a full, week all about this stuff. Sue Woods asks, just to remind me, can I eat as much fruit as you want? We haven't approached that, and again, we're getting ahead in the modules. The answer is no, but I haven't told you all about that yet. Okay, and the reason you can't have as much is because of the fructose. Okay, fructose is an extremely different molecule to standard sugar. It's not, you can't put it into the same category. It acts very differently in the body, as you'll find out from another module. Okay, it is wrongly looked at as being extremely healthy. Fruit would have only been eaten seasonally, and we have massive access to it now because pretty much nothing is grown seasonally anymore. Now, when it comes to fruit, we just need to watch it, okay? So the answer is no, you can't have as much as you want. Be a little bit restrictive, okay, and don't gorge on it all day long, but I haven't got to that stage just yet. Okay, so you will find all about that at a later stage. So the answer is no, you can't eat as much as you want, but just be aware that you can't have too much. Okay, I don't want to get too far into it. You will find out about all of that, as well as all of the fructose content of all of the fruits as well, so that you know exactly how to eat the fruit for optimum body composition. Can we have bananas? I'd probably limit yourself to 1 banana at this stage per day. At this stage, okay? Only because you haven't approached this section within TBT 90 just yet, okay? Vicky, I saw the Itsu ones and I was worried about them being processed. I think they're literally just hardly processed at all. If you look at it, you can really see the fine grains and weaves of these things just pressed together. Okay, they're not bad at all, and I think they only have added olive oil in there, which is great because it's not a seed oil. Glad to hear I can have them because I love them. Awesome, good. Okay, Leonora asks if there's any measurement tips. She said Joe, which is her husband, gets huge differences each time. All right, so how do I ever measure anyone? Obviously, what I do is make sure that I'm in the right place every time. Now, most of the time, what you'll see in there is midway between. So when it's the arm, it will be midway between the shoulder and the elbow. So you kind of need to pick a point on the shoulder, which is the acromioclavicular joint here, okay? And you basically just put your little finger on there, little finger on the elbow, and literally go like that, and that's the point that you get there, okay? And you want to be looking for a prominent mark, maybe on the arm, so like a freckle, a spot, or something like that. And that goes for any limb that you're measuring, okay? So if it's the hip joint down to the knee, still use this sort of measurement tool. If they're just slightly apart, then just go, okay, it's midway between there. All right. On the bum, he needs to be doing it from the side, and it's the most prominent point of the bum as it comes round. It's the most prominent point there, and all the way round. Make sure that the tape measure is bang on level all the time. When it comes to the tummy, it's across the navel. All right. Hips, obviously, most prominent part of the bum, and your thighs, obviously, exactly the same, and nipple line on with the tape measure on the chest. Now, obviously, it's important to make sure that it's not pulled in tight. Okay, we never ever want to do that. We just want to get it to that point so that it's just resting there. And if you wanted to move it slightly, you could. So make sure it's level. Make sure that if you wanted to move it slightly, you could up and down, and just quickly grab it there, take the measurement, and off you go. Okay. So tension is obviously important. You don't want to be pulling the bust in or pulling the bum in. Always, when you're doing any sort of bum, hips, and tummy measurement, always stand side on to the person measuring you, okay? Okay, so Rashna asks, is Meridian almond butter okay? It's absolutely fantastic stuff, and obviously almonds I find are the better nuts in the entire category of nuts, along with macadamia and walnut. They would be my nuts of choice, and also cashews. So butter made from those nuts is absolutely awesome, and it's great for a snack, dipping celery in, you know, and such like. What we have to remember though is that if you were eating, let's say you were having nuts as a snack, I would want you to pinch those nuts, take them out, and put the bag away. So you're looking at about 6 to 10 nuts, okay? a pinch. That's a snack when it comes to nuts. Nuts are domino foods, what I call domino foods. Once you start, the domino effect happens and you'll keep on and on and on eating them, okay? So it's extremely important with nuts because they are extremely calorific, okay? They are a snack which needs to be respected. Now with almond butter, obviously that is just a bunch of nuts blended down, and it's the oil. There's no added oil to the Meridian one. It's just blended down, and it's the natural oils producing that oil on the top. Now you need to be aware that because that's blended down, that's going to be a whole lot of nuts there, all right? So just be aware, because you could, if you wanted to, have a ton of celery sticks there and keep dipping it in and eating and eating and eating. Before you know it, the pot's gone because a Meridian one's just like that size, and you've just smashed an absolute ton of calories there. Now, whereas I don't like you counting calories because it's a stress and it's a hindrance, and I'm not saying calories don't count, but you can have it as a little bit of a snack, maybe to do one stick of celery, and that would be a whole bunch of nuts there, okay? You know, a dollop in your smoothie is okay, but I don't tend to go a whole bomb on snacks, because your fat loss lunchbox that is supposed to last you from the minute you leave the house to the time you get home and anywhere in between, you know, if you're going to a meeting, you take this box with you. If you get caught off guard and need to travel somewhere, it sits next to you on the passenger seat of your car, you know, whatever. It goes everywhere with you. If you need to go somewhere, it goes with you. Now, in terms of snacks, this can become your snack. You can just have a few bites, close the lid, and away it goes. If you're feeling a little bit peckish, you can have a little bit of a bite on it, close the lid, and away it goes. When it gets to lunchtime, you can have a bigger mouthful, okay? And the thing with it is that it is absolutely, every single bite of that lunchbox is nutritionally balanced. You've got the high sulfur, you've got the sea veg, you've got the good fats, you've got the alkaline veg, you've got the protein. Every single bite is bang on for you, okay? So that's where really you need to be snacking, and I know calorifically, without going too far, it's going to be optimum for you, okay? So just watch the amount of stuff that you're having with regards to snacks. Any snacks that are on those snack lists are not a free-for-all. It's not there because you can eat it in abundance. It's there as if you need it, okay? It's not, I'm going to take my lunchbox and I'm going to take a snack. It's just there if you need it in addition. But if your fat loss lunchbox is big enough, you shouldn't need those snacks at all, okay? Let's take a look. Also, the Sun Warrior protein range is one of choice because they have a lot less additives, and also they're not heated to extremely high temperatures, which means that their product range is classified as a raw range. Okay, so you're going to get a lot better nutrition from that range, which is why I would recommend them. Vicky, Tony's posted the link for you, so there you go. Thanks, Tony. Just flicking through to see if there's any questions I've missed. Adelaide asks, what's the best vegetable protein substitute? There really isn't one, apart from something else which I do all the time, is to use a organic free-range egg in my smoothie. Now, that might sound not great to you, but you actually don't taste any of it whatsoever at all, and actually adds, if anything, a slight vanilla taste to it. So you can get a really good protein hit, as well as all of the good fats, in amongst a whole ton of good nutrition from those eggs. And please don't get me started on cholesterol. That's a whole other subject. Okay, Vicky says, thanks for all the tips. I've got to run. No problem. See you later, Vic. Okay, coming up to 20 to 10 now. Is there any more questions coming up? Okay, Adelaide asks, could you give an example of an active recovery session? For example, if I go for a slow cycle, how long should it be before it results in increased cortisol? For a recovery session, you don't need to do any more than about 20 to 30 minutes, and I'm talking really slow. And also, if you wanted to eliminate any of that cortisol production, if you're working intensely enough on your training, you shouldn't want to go for any of these things. You can go for a leisurely swim if you want to, a very short cycle, but the best recovery session would be to go for a plunge pool, a massage, a mobility session, or just purely and simply a yoga session, Pilates session, or just simply stretching if that's not in your budget. So they, I find, are the best recovery sessions for you. Do we have any more questions coming up? Just going to check if I've missed any. So just to reiterate on the fat point from Adelaide, literally you're adding a little bit of fat to your smoothie to ensure that that meal has some good fats. That might be coconut oil, it might be a drizzle of flaxseed oil, or it might be an avocado or some avocado oil. For your lunchbox, you must drizzle that lunchbox with some good oils, and that would be extra virgin olive oil or some of the oils that you'll find within the later module all about fat. And in the evening, you want to just be simply cooking with coconut oil or something like that that tolerates heat very well. Vicky, am I likely to see weight loss around my hips, or is this just my body shape? No, Vicky, you are going to see weight loss around your hips. 150%. Okay? It's going to be down to estrogen levels or a high level of estrogen levels. And what we're looking at in this program is reducing the prevalence of bad estrogens or phytoestrogens in our diet. And if you take a look or speak to Jo Letts, that was primarily her problem area. And we managed to absolutely smash that and give her extremely good results in the areas that she wanted to lose it in. When it comes to body shape, primarily the reason that we have differing body shapes is because of our differing hormonal shape, with hormones being out of whack. And could you just bear with me 2 seconds? I just want to sort something out with regards to my connection. Babe? Babe? Can you close the fridge? It's interrupting the connection. Sorry about that. The connection was being interrupted with the fridge door being open. So yeah, when it comes to body shapes, hormones being out of whack, and you'll learn a little bit more about that pretty soon. Sue Wood asks, I don't have any sea vegetables at the moment. Is that a problem? It's not, because this is something not just for this week. It's for it's a lifetime change. All right, and that is to optimize the function of your thyroid, which means that your metabolism will be working optimally. So you could head down to Waitrose, get some of those Itsu crackers, get yourself online. There's no rush because we have 12 weeks together, and obviously your life after that. So it's not too much of a problem at this time. Just get them as soon as you can. Okay. Okay, so we've been going for an hour now. If there's no more questions coming in, then we're going to wrap it up for this week. And if you missed anything, there's going to be a recording of this going straight into the group. Now that you know how the process works, then you know for next week what sort of link to look out for in the group. Rashna, I'll continue, because you're not actually on the group, I'll continue to email the link through to you personally. And Jolette is just letting everyone know that she's lost fat around the lower half of her body, which is exactly the reason she came on this program. It's really good to know that you're going to lose a really good amount of fat by balancing out all of your hormones. And hormones, optimum hormonal function, is absolute key to achieving your results, which is what this program is all about. So if there's no more questions, I'm going to wrap it up there, and we will see you in the group. And I'm going to post the link to this one so you can sign up and check it out. If not, everyone else is going to benefit from the questions that you asked. Now, what you need to do between now and next week is ensure that you have the notes section of your phone up, or if you use a notebook or a diary, any questions that you think of, note them down instantly, because that is how you're going to get your questions answered. And then you can simply come on the coaching call every Monday, which is where this group is going to have it, and have your questions answered there and then. Okay, so you won't get anything missed, and you'll get your questions answered that you without having to remember back over the week. So on that note, I'm going to leave you this week, and hopefully we will chat more and get more people in on the call, and we will get a ton of questions done and sorted. And I look forward to seeing you in the group and answering all of your questions, and seeing you next week on the coaching call. Get everyone in on the call, and we will get everyone losing fat at a rapid rate of knots. Take care, guys, and I'll see you next week. Well done.